Hello and welcome to From Maccabi Tel Aviv 77 to Today, featuring basketball legends Tal Brody and Aulcie and Israeli Academy Award winning filmmaker Dani Menkin. My name is Michael Mantel. I'm a child and family psychotherapist and educator, and I'm honored to welcome you all to this very special program. I'm grateful to all of you, old friends and new, who are here in attendance, and those viewing this recording. I'd also like to thank our program partners, the Rededication Project, White Rose Magazine, NYC Shtetl, Mothers Against College Anti-Semitism, Jews in School, Alums for Campus Fairness, the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center, the Moe Safra Center, the Center for Jewish History, Stand With Us, the Giving Back Fund, Hey Jude Productions, and On the Map Foundation. Special shout outs to Darren Glick, Karen Lerman-Block, Judy Falk, Shelley Freeman, Alton Devlin, Noam Koren, Roz Rothstein, and so many others who helped make this happen. And of course, a very special thank you to our incredible guests today, Tal Brody, Aulcie, and Dani Menkin. Tal Brody is one of Israel's greatest sports icons and a global ambassador of goodwill. After turning down a career in the NBA, he chose to make Israel his home and led Maccabi Tel Aviv to its historic 1977 European Championship. His unforgettable words, "We are on the map," became a defining moment in Israeli history. Through decades of diplomacy, education, and public service, Tal has continued to represent Israel around the world with pride and integrity. Aulcie is the legendary center who helped lead Maccabi Tel Aviv to its historic 1977 win, forever changing Israeli basketball. An American who embraced Israel as his home, Aulcie became one of the country's most beloved athletes. His remarkable journey of resilience, personal transformation, and deep connection to Israel continues to inspire audiences around the world. Tal and Aulcie truly are two of Israel's national treasures. And Dani Menkin is an award-winning Los Angeles-based filmmaker and two-time Israeli Academy Award winner whose works include Is That You?, 39 Pounds of Love, Dolphin Boy, On the Map, Picture of His Life, Aulcie, and more. He is the founder of Hey Jude Productions, and his headshot is probably what you find in the Yiddish dictionary when you look up the word mensch. We are so grateful and honored to have you three with us today. And we're excited to do a little something different with this program. After this brief introduction, I'll start us off with a question, and then we'll open up the conversation for all of you to ask your questions. We hope this format will give you even more opportunities to ask your questions directly to Tal, Aulcie, and Dani, and hear their stories firsthand. Now, before we begin the program today, I also want to play a short video from Roz Rothstein, founder and CEO of Stand With Us, an incredible organization, does amazing work with the Jewish community around the world.
Time when Israel was still recovering from the trauma of the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Tal Brody, Aulcie, and Maccabi Tel Aviv gave the nation a much-needed sense of pride by defeating the heavily favored Soviet Red Army team CSKA Moscow in the 1977 European Champions Cup semifinal.
Basketball was the #1 topic in Israel.
When I got there, I was really surprised because we had three great playmakers, Mota Aresti, Bob Griffin, and Tal Brody.
Tal Brody's unforgettable words captured the moment. We are on the map, and we are staying on the map, not only in sports, but in everything. That message resonates just as powerfully in Israel and in the Jewish communities around the world in the aftermath of October 7th.
This is more than just a game.
All that excitement, all that pride. just came out of my heart.
Awesome. So I want to thank Roz and Stan with us for all of their support of this program and their support of the incredible work of Dani Menkin and the On the Map Foundation. Once again, I want to thank all of our partners, all of you for joining us, and our three incredible guests. And with that, I will start us off with our first question. So Dani, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to ask you, what was the impetus for you to make the On the Map documentary? And why was it so important for you to tell that story in this particular moment 10 years ago?
So for me, first and foremost, thank you, Michael. We didn't say that. So thank you, Michael, for hosting, being the heart and soul of this amazing event. So for me, these are first and foremost my childhood friends and heroes. And I, like everybody in Israel, we grew up on this myth and story. And when I found out that there's so many footage that never been seen, so many stories that never been told, I realized that this is much more than a basketball story. And that's when we put it together as a documentary. That is why we're working now, as we're turning into the 50th anniversary for 1977. We're making it into a narrative film. And there are moments in time, and I think it's been said in the movie as well, that takes you from one generation to the other. And that moment when Tal Brody said what he said, and together with Aulcie and Mickey and Moti and Ralph, they've done this unbelievable miracle that was way more than just basketball. I knew that this is a story that has to be told. And until today, I'm very passionate about it. And that's what brought me also to have On the Map Foundation, because I realized that I believe most, if not all of the people joining this Zoom and so many millions around the world understand that Israel is not the way it's portrayed in the news. And if I can do something about it as a director, as a storyteller, change that paradigm somehow, I'll be very glad. So it's an incredible story, but it also really shows the heart of our nation. And that's why I believe people react to it. I also believe most people here saw the movie. Whoever hasn't seen the movie, Michael, you can just tell them where to reach out to, and we'll be happy to send you this or any of our other films as well.
Thank you, Dani. Yeah, I think I can speak for everyone who's seen any of your movies that you really touch us, and you show Israel in a way, like you said, that it really is not how propaganda would like us to believe it is. So thank you for that. So Tal and Aulcie, I'd love to bring you into the conversation. How and when did you first connect with Dani? And I'm curious, what was your reaction when Dani first approached you about wanting to make this documentary?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for the very nice introduction. For Aulcie and myself, it was very nice. And to see Rose and the work that she's doing with Stand With Us, wow, it's so important these days. And with Dani, doing the movie in 77, and I think it's you could appreciate where our basketball started to go up. I see Stu Kersner, I see Steve Edelman online over here, and they were in Israel when the conditions for basketball, we can get rained out, we could be in a sandstorm, we're playing on marble floors in the no basketball arenas. And well, it was in the summer, but if you were here during the winter, then you probably have to play with gloves. So in the movie, you have to appreciate really what you did, Dani, because you really didn't have a lot of film. Most of the film were also black and white at that period of time. But the time that you took the movie and to participate in the movie, everybody says it's not, no problem. Come for an hour. We're taking a movie and shots. It's not an hour. It's about a half a year, if not more, putting everything together because there was only one television station in Israel at the time. And how you collected all the clips and, the production wasn't the type of production where you had them the type of equipment and everything. And so to do this was really, phenomenal. And, like coming in to think about we're going to go up against the CSKA team. It's not only the Russian army team. It's the team that in the few years before, this is 77, but in 1972 Olympics, 7 of those players were on the national team that beat the United States team for the first time in the Olympics, where the US team never lost in the Olympics. And then you have to add on to that from 1973 until 1977, the country is in a mourning. So the importance of this game was so important that, and the people were basically, very few people had a feeling that we even had a chance. And for years, I would see Sergei Belov at the NBA All-Star Weekends, and I would ask them, why did you choose a small gymnasium of 500 people? Every grade school in the United States, even in Israel, has a better gymnasium than that. And 498 out of the 500 people were from Israel, waving Israeli flags and singing, and only 2 KGB agents were there cheering against the Russian team. And we had Aulcie Perry blocking shots. They were very difficult for them to get to the basket. And we were motivated. And when we won that game, it was just like Independence Day in Israel. You couldn't believe it. Everybody just poured out of their houses and filled the streets. And again, we only had one television station. So everybody in the country was watching. They didn't have a chance. They didn't have a choice. You have 200 stations today with the cable and everything. So yes, you did something very wonderful, and it's up to today, it's appreciated. It's never been forgotten, and it's always remembered. And now we're going to be celebrating in Israel. There are 50 years since, flew by, and we're going to be celebrating those 50 years in Israel, all over the place, all over the country.
Amazing, Tal. Thank you.
And Aulcie, 50 years ago, this is where you were the last guy to be cut from the Knicks, right? Summer of 1976 is where you thought you were going to play for the Knicks, and then something changed in your story.
For me, coming to Maccabi in 76 was like a dream come true. I met the team in Amsterdam, and we went on. We had some games in Europe, and they decided to choose me. And when I got back to Israel, when we came to Israel, I realized, and I started to practice, I realized that this team is much better than what they thought it was going to be. So everybody got in the right frame of mind to give as much as they can. Biggest honor for me in my life is to beat CSKA, the Russian team, and to win the European Cup the first year. That's the highlights of my life. Nothing could be more sweet. And the welcoming and the love that I get from Israel every day is what keeps me going. It's unbelievable. Not a place in the country I could go to that I'm not recognized or give honor to.
Amen. My father was telling somebody about this program, that Aulcie and Tal will be on this program. This is in New York City, and this woman said, "Oh my God, I got to join." She loved you guys. She was in Israel at the time and couldn't wait to be a part of this Zoom. So I'm so glad that you're here, that she's here with us. Now, I'm going to jump to a few questions that we have from other people, and then I'm happy to share some of my own questions. Barry, you had your hand raised, and then Matt, I'm going to call on you next. Barry, are you here that you can unmute yourself?
My name is Barry Goldsmith. I was the 2009 Maccabi tennis coach. In 1972, I cut my trip short in Russia to attend the Munich Olympics with my teammate, Mark Herenscheid, and very good friend, Barry Leibowitz, with Tal Brody. I believe lost to the Bulgarian team. Otherwise, they would have been part of the group that was killed and murdered. I saw them walk in opening day. Can Tal explain why they didn't make and were fortunate enough not to make the Olympic Games in Munich?
Yeah, we were in the pre-Olympics tournament in order to go up to the game in Munich, and then you're right, we did lose in the I think it was Bulgaria and to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Were the games close? Did you win any games?
Yeah, we won a few games, but the fact that we lost to Bulgaria, I think, was the deciding point that we didn't go up another step to go to the finals, to the finals.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Matt, we'll get you in.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for organizing this. So when you went over to Israel, this was on the heels of Dolph Schayes' career, and there was Ernie Grunfeld. And it seems like with Dani and the NBA, this project has been completed, and that Israel is the center of Jewish basketball in the world. So now it's almost like we need something in the other direction. So what are we going to do for our American Jewish players? Are they going to have to come to Israel to do, in a sense, learn the game from the Israelis in the way that you taught the game to the Israelis? Where do you see the future going?
Well, I'll tell you, they just have to look who are coming to Israel to play in Israel today. We have, you can't believe after we went through all the ballistic missiles and everything with the Iranians and the Houthis and Hezbollah and Hamas, our basketball league is probably going to be the most popular in Europe. We with our Maccabi Tel Aviv team, we already have 5 guys from 6'8" to 6'10", some of the best centers in Europe. And if you're talking about salaries, we have salaries on our top teams that's more than the minimum salary in the NBA.
Yeah, it's very.
There was one player from the opposite team in Apol Tel Aviv. The new owner of the team is paying him $6 million a year for 3-year contract. And players with $2 million is not foreign anymore in Israel. So if you have good Jewish young players, they're going to have to work hard in order to be good to get a place to be able to play in Israel, and we've seen the junior Maccabi games and the Maccabi games, and I think the Jewish youth is coming up, and the potential is getting better and better. And along that, the Israeli players are getting better and better. We have 5 players in the NBA today, and we have about 25, if not 30 players in college basketball, girls and boys. About 15 girls and about 15 boys that are playing with the university colleges. So basketball in Israel is at a very good level. If NBA scouts are coming to Israel to look at our basketball league to bring them into the NBA, but some of the players that are here, like that played in the NBA, are coming here from Europe to go to the NBA. Sometimes they have to take a cut in salary, so they're staying in Israel. So everybody realizes that we have a lot of anti-Semitism, a lot of anti-Israel in Europe, especially. It's been brought in the United States. You feel it in the streets and the universities. But as far as basketball players, Aulcie was one of the first African-American basketball players that came here. And today we have quite a few African-American ball players that came to Israel. They feel very good in Israel, stayed, and some married Israeli girls and built families here. I'm telling you. So our basketball league is not only popular within Israel, and we're back. I think we're going to be back in Israel. Our basketball team in Israel it's not only one team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, that's in the EuroLeague. We have two teams, Apol Tel Aviv and Maccabi Tel Aviv. And with Sheldon Adelson's son, Matan, is doing a nice job with the Jerusalem team. And it could be, if they take the competition that they're in, we could have 3 Israeli teams probably the following year in the EuroLeague. So if for young Jewish basketball players coming up in the States, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity. They can first come to Israel with the junior Maccabi games, then with the you have 16 to 18, then you have 18 to 20. Even with the situation that their planes were canceled and everything because of the Iranian situation, still, we had 40%. We had over 3,000 athletes that came from all over the world to participate. The delegation, the U.S. delegation, was close to 1,000 participating in all sports. So the Maccabi games still went on, So sports, I always look at it that Israel is the sports capital of the Middle East. It's nice. I mean, it's the Middle East. It's a nice territory, but to be, let's say, the sports capital of the Middle East, and it's not only basketball, and we even have baseball because of a lot of the American kids that came here. We have lacrosse. A lot of the girls from the university came here, and the guys, they started lacrosse. And Israel in all sports, especially judo, our girls in judo are doing fantastic. So sport is an ambassador as itself, for Israel. Wherever we go and our sportsmen are received, it's very difficult, even with the European Eurovision music festival. 5 countries boycotted because they wanted Israel to go out, to be thrown out of the Eurovision Song Contest. And all the countries stayed in, and we took 2nd place, and we got the popular vote.
Tal, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think that's actually a question that someone's going to ask shortly. I want to ask that question after, if that's okay, because I think that's so important what you just brought up about the boycotting. Is that okay if we get to that question?
Yeah, we have many. I see many people raising their hands for questions.
Yeah. Before we do, though, Aulcie, did you want to share before we jump to the other questions?
No, just that playing in Israel, that Tal really did a good job. The basketball in Israel is at the highest level that you can possibly imagine outside of the NBA. Also, what wasn't mentioned, that the year that the Bullets won the championship, they came to Israel and we beat them. So
Wow.
Basketball is really on the up, and it's just unbelievable, the talent that we have.
Not only you beat the Washington Bullets, also you beat them 78-77.
Yeah.
Great score.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to quickly ask that question that's here. It was about the boycotting, and then Mark, Sherry, and Helene will get to you. But Tal, this was like basically from what you were saying. Let me just locate it. So we're living through a different moment today, but in many ways, the phrase "on the map" feels like it's relevant, just as relevant as in 1977. Israel continues to face efforts to isolate. It faces efforts to isolate it culturally, politically, and internationally. And we see debates over whether Israeli athletes, artists, and institutions should even be allowed to participate on the world stage. So nearly 50 years later, what do you think it means, not simply for Israel to be on the map, but for Israelis and Jews around the world to insist our right to be seen, heard, and fully part of this world? Curious from Tal and Aulcie, both of you, your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll start it off and just say that we're more than on the map today. It's unbelievable, the achievements, whether the Israel Stock Exchange last year was the highest of all the stock exchanges in the world. Our trade, international trade, has broken all records of all time, the amount of trade that's going on with Israel. in the universities how smart they are. They really have to be stupid to divest in anything that has to do in Israel. It's amazing. Now, our sport is our front line for what we call asbara. It's the same thing that all the athletes that came to the Maccabi games, they went home with their hearts full of love of Israel, and they're better prepared to compete, whether on their college campuses or in the streets, with people that are talking bad mouth about Israel, because the narrative that they see on the TV, whether it's France 24 or BBC or CNN in the United States, they don't get the narrative right, or they're only telling half the truth. And I'll give you an example. Every time I hear on CNN that they're bombing Lebanon and 20 Lebanese were killed, but they don't say 18 of those were Hezbollah terrorists, fighters. And 2 people were probably near where they were firing rockets, collateral damage. And when I heard all through the Hamas and the war in Gaza, it was ridiculous that they keep on saying 20, 30, 40,000 Gazans or Palestinians were killed. Of course they're Palestinians, but Hamas is Palestinians. And if you talk about 20, 25,000, Hamas out of the 30 or 35 were killed. Even the United Nations now are coming out with reports of how many natural deaths, whether it's young kids or whether it's people that died from cancer, all type of natural deaths, were all reported as injured by Israel. So they don't get the whole narrative. We don't bomb hospitals. We bomb, and we don't take down apartment buildings. We take down where they have command centers in those buildings. And so, but we look at the TV from here, and it's really depressing because the narrative is not 100%. They say half the truth. They don't say, and they don't give a balanced opinion. So yeah, it's very disappointing for us when we look at the news internationally, what's happening. There's no justice to it,
I think it's pretty short what Tal is saying, that if Israel wants to fight, they want to fight in the basketball court. They don't want to fight anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it.
Well said. Well said. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
That's one of the things that I'm very upset about. Every time I want to watch the news, it's unbelievable. The CNN is I don't know, is the savior, because all the other stations really doesn't speak the truth about what's going on in Israel. That's a shame. That's really a shame, because Israel is such a wonderful place. Made my home there. Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, but Israel is my home.
Not only that, Aulcie Perry is now Elisha Ben Avram. And Mark Polly, who is going to speak now, has seen the movie. Mark, how many times? 40?
No, only 39.
Oh, okay, only 39 times. I'm sorry.
But 39 times in its entirety. Working with Dani and the foundation, every time he shows it, I sit in that theater and watch the whole film 39 times. And for any of you who haven't seen it, you must see the film, and we must make it into a full-length feature film. We must do that, Dani. I have a question for you, Aulcie. Could you have had any idea that by not eating those cookies, the impact that it would have on the rest of your life?
No, I have no idea. No, even
those
when
of
I
you
think
who've seen
about
the
it
movie
now,
know what I'm talking about.
If I had his address today, I would go and from the interview, and buy 4 of the nicest cakes that they possibly have, and send it to him, thanking him for the opportunity he gave me to play in Maccabi. Unbelievable. He took those 4 cakes, and the coach saw him, and the general manager saw him, and said, if he wants all the cakes, he's going to want to shoot all the balls. That's the player I was competing against. And they chose me, and what a life change. Thank you.
And I think those kind of stories, as a storyteller, you cannot almost invent. And Mark, you mentioned the feature film, so whoever want to join us, support, Michael will put you also a link to how you can contact us and be in touch with us. Also, if you want to support us, we have a signed basketball by Aulcie Perry and Tal Brody with shirts from 1977, signed by Aulcie Perry and Tal Brody, both of them. If you want to be producers, if you want to do an event in your community with us, with Aulcie, with Tal, we would love to do it. We want to spread the word. I feel we need inspirational stories. It's not only that 1977 was the healing point of the country for Yom Kippur War. I feel like right now we need it as well, as we all face some kind of a post-trauma from October 7th. So I hope everybody will join us. You know, that's why we opened this event for free for everyone. You know, so whoever wants to support, great. You don't have to, but please share it with people, because we want to spread inspirational stories from Israel, because that's the Israel we know. That's the Israel that we want to share. And at the end of the day, what frustrates a lot of people is that it's all a story. People have their own story. And really, if we can change it even a little bit, I think it's even more important than getting another bomb. Because Israel is really good fighting in the battlefield, but we do need help in other ways in the storytelling outside of our country. So everybody here is being recruited as an ambassador. Tal, I know you are an ambassador for goodwill for the States of Israel. Anyone who tells the story in a good way, it's Tal Brody.
I just want to add one thing. You're talking about how sport, but sport is the ambassador. Sport is one of the leading, let's say, goodwill, if anything, that's happening in Israel. And I'll give you two examples. There was a Grand Slam judo competition in Abu Dhabi. And when Moki Sagi won the gold medal, it was the first time that in an Arabic country, Hatikva was played when he got up on the podium and he got the gold medal. And when you watch something like that, and you saw also when the judo competition was in Qatar, they tried everything that Israel would not participate in the judo competition. And when in Bar Lanier won the gold medal, she went up to the podium and they didn't have any choice to play Hatikva in Qatar, the number one enemy for Israel. Not that they're fighting, but they're pumping so much money around the world in order to influence people, especially the universities in the States. But in Qatar, playing the national anthem, if you watch something like that, it's just unbelievable what not only basketball can do, but what all Israeli sport being on the top in Europe, and the fact that it's very difficult to boycott Israel in any sport competition. It happens from
also
time
answers
to time.
The question for Casey that asked about
amazing.
you. Yeah, you've been an ambassador, Tal, and that's answered the question of Casey. But I think, Michael, we have a few more questions from the crowd.
Yeah. I was going to say, before we get to them, Mark, you were holding that beautiful basketball. I was ready for you to pass it to me. I had my hands open. It's beautiful. But yeah, thanks for showing us it. It's awesome. So we'll go to Sherry next, and then we got Helene and Ron.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sherry Brody Spiesel, but I am not a relative, unfortunately, of Tal. I wish I were. I'm going to go back many years when Tal was the big basketball star at Trenton Central High School in New Jersey.
Wow.
He was very popular by the whole town, the whole city, and of course by his fellow students. And as a young bride, they used to have telephone books then. Girls would look up Brody in the telephone book and accidentally get my phone number. And I got many phone calls and I answered, and the girl said, "Is Tal there? Can I talk to her?" And I'd say, "I'm sorry, dear, you have the wrong number and I don't have Tal's number." But I was proud. And so I was very happy to come to Trenton and be welcomed by everybody and kind of pretend that I know Tal. And whenever he does come back to Trenton to show on the map or to greet people, I always try to show up and say hello to him. So I'm very proud of you, Tal, and I'm proud of your whole team and your whole project here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see
Awesome.
that Ron Biala is here from Marlborough, New Jersey. My cousin David Brody is from Marlborough.
Oh.
Yeah, David, he's a
Right.
dentist there.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. First of all, I just want to say that I lived in Israel during part of those years, and I went to the Maccabi Tel Aviv games, and Aulcie and Tal, they were all over the news constantly. I mean, they were big, big celebs in Israel, and the sport was very popular. So I have one comment in terms of, people saying how important sports are for Hasbara and Israel's image. And I just want to if anybody here has a Facebook account and you get Facebook Reels, I know that I couldn't open up Facebook during the entire World Cup competition without seeing Europeans of all stripes on camera saying, we were wrong about the US. It's an incredible place. We love it here. People are so welcoming because the US has like a, kind of a negative whatever reputation in Europe right now. So people look flummoxed. So I really believe in the power of sports influencing a country's public image. Even with, sorry to say, soccer. My question too, in terms of let's say cultural coexistence in Israel, because I don't know too much about the current complexion of the team. Do you have any Israeli Arab players on the current Maccabi Tel Aviv team? Because that also, broadcasting that would also, show like excellent coexistence and that type of thing.
Presently on the team, no, but we did have a couple years ago a player, and he also played with the University of Las Vegas, and he hurt his shoulder, but he's still playing in the league with other teams. And by the way, in the Maccabi games, the only players that are not Jewish, because it's the Jewish Olympics, are Israeli Arabs, Muslim or Christian or Druze. If they're good athletes and they have to participate like any of the Israelis, as if they're Israelis. So yes, there's coexistence in sport in Israel. There are more Arabic players in the soccer world than they are in the basketball world, but they are. Yes, I mean it doesn't depend on any type of religion, whether you're playing on a team in Israel or not. It's if you're good, you're playing. That's
Many
it.
of
So,
our top players in Israel on soccer are Arab players, and they plays with Jews, and it's like an amazing example for coexistence. And if you ever come and visit, you'll see way more coexistence than what you think exists in the news. Unfortunately, you hear the problems. And I've made a movie called Dolphin Boy, and it was about an Arab kid, and all the people say, wow, that's how Jews and Arabs live? Yeah, of course they are. Come to Tel Aviv, come to Jaffa, come to the beach, see that yourself.
No, I lived in Israel for 5 years, so
I know you know.
I know. But
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Helene. And that's a good plug for Danny's other films. Again, On the Map is spectacular, but films like Dolphin Boy are just, same par, so incredible, and truly tells the full story of Israel. So Ron, sorry about before. Please, I'd love to have your question.
That's okay. So actually, it's not so much of a question, but it's more a note. Going back to 1965, I believe this was the first time, Tal, that you came to Israel for the Maccabi games. And at that time, I was in middle school in Jerusalem. And I can tell you one thing, that anytime we played basketball in the, in the school's court, everybody that made like a nice layup, they say, this is the layup like Tal Brody. Because, we were trying to imitate, the way that Tal, was playing going forward. when we were arriving. That was when I was in middle school, but then when I had kids and we came to Israel, I discovered that there is a camp in Machon Wingate, and Tal and Aulcie were running this camp. And, then I brought my son, to come and practice and play in this camp, during the summer. I know Tal remembers because, we met afterwards, one time in the Madison Square Garden. We took a picture there. And then going forward, it happened to be that Tal's, uncle, which is David, happened to be our dentist for over 25 years. So, you close circles from, different areas. But the most important really thing is that how everybody was at that time, the American player came from the States, to Israel, and everybody was just trying to play like Tal, and of course later, when Aulcie joined as well. But that's something that, I think that made a big impression on every kid in Israel at that time.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Ron. Steve, we'll jump to you.
Great, thank you. Great to be on the call with everyone. Just a reflection. My parents were Holocaust survivors. They came to the United States. Everyone else who survived moved to Israel. So literally my entire family was there. I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 1979. And even though I was a tennis and squash player in college, I was obsessed with college basketball because Tal, I'm sure, remembers my college got to the Final Four, which was very unusual for an Ivy League school. And one of my closest friends, Bobby Willis, had to guard a guy named Magic Johnson. And so they ended up losing to Michigan State, then losing to DePaul with Mark Aguirre in overtime by 2. And then shortly thereafter, our tennis team went to Europe to play. And then as a graduation gift, my parents sent me to Israel for the first time, which was really an incredible experience. And I show up with my cousins in Haifa, and we go to the beach. And I'm excited about the Final Four and my friends playing Magic Johnson. All I do is hear about these two guys I've never heard of, Aulcie Perry and Tal Brody. Who the hell are they? And it really was amazing. I mean, you guys created more joy in the state of Israel. And I think we can never forget that things like sports, music, medicine should never be political, but they can be used to build bridges the way Jack Hughes's goal for the Americans in the Olympic Games brought the country together. So what you guys have done was really spectacular. I'm honored to work with Tal at the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame and the election committee. Thank you for all you're doing and what you bring to the table. And Aulcie Perry, a thrill to meet you. I feel like we've met, although we never had the privilege. Hopefully someday that changes. But again, thank you for the joy and prestige, and really for the trailblazing you did to make Israel a basketball powerhouse around the world. So keep up the great work, guys.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steve. I just want to interject a question because, Tal, you mentioned something before about what was going on all around you, and someone mentioned the Munich massacre. The 77 win was 30 years or less than 30 years from Israel's War of Independence. We had the Six-Day War, Munich massacre, Yom Kippur War just 4 years earlier, Soviet Jewry movement gaining speed, and 1975 United Nations passed the infamous resolution equating Zionism with racism. I'm just wondering, Tal, you mentioned it just before, but for you and Aulcie, at the time, were you conscious of this larger historical moment that you were playing and living in? And did you feel, if you did you feel that responsibility while you were actually playing, or did you only understand the significance after the win?
No, from the beginning, once I got to Israel and we started to practice, everybody was saying, and from Israel was saying, when we came up against Cheska, don't lose by 50. Have some kavod. Don't lose by 50. And we went and we won that game, and everything changed. From that moment, basketball which was already big, but became a #1 sport in Israel. And I'm just happy that I had an opportunity to be there and play. Thank you.
And Aulcie Perry inspired us so much that we have made a movie just about Aulcie. If anyone wants to see that, just contact us through the website heyjudeproductions.com. And later we'll make an event about that. Aulcie and actually Tal toured with that movie as well. And I think it's an example for way beyond basketball to how Israel embraced Aulcie, and actually Aulcie embraced Israel as well. But if you are also in Israel, just Tal and Aulcie are going to schools and to communities, and we're doing events. In the States, it's a little bit more difficult, but we're raising support to do some things like that as well, because it is important to show that.
Pete Castle.
Pete Castle actually played basketball with Tal, with Aulcie.
Yes.
And he was at the event at the Jewish Center for Jewish History a month ago.
Yes. I'll mention something about that in a sec, but I've seen the movie numerous times myself, and it always makes me cry. So when someone was mentioning that he gets emotional, made me get emotional. What I have to say about Tal and Aulcie and yourself, the Michael said that Tal was a mensch, and everyone on that team, including the filmmaker, are all mensches. Tal may be the super mensch, but everybody on that team was just an amazing person. Amazing person. Michael also, he got involved now. He's an amazing person. But about 10, 11 years ago, I was in Israel, and we went to eat in, I think, Ramat Aviv Mall or something. And at that time, Tal was in a TV show, The Worst Cook in Israel or something like that. And previously,
Save me, I don't know how to cook.
Yeah, something like
I don't know how to cook.
So previously, you had little kids and then ex-basketball players coming up to Tal. Now you had these old ladies coming up to him, giving them recipes and everything like that. It was really something to behold. Aulcie, I'm from Elizabeth, right next door to you, and I think I was in your apartment like the second day you came to Israel, because a member of my team, Paul Cohn, was very good friends with Jim Boatwright at that time. So I met you the day you came, and I met Tal 1 or 2 days after I came in '74. We went to his sporting goods store, and he said that we're going to have a pretty decent team, which we did. As far as playing in Europe in '74, there were headlines that the Arabs would make peace with Israel and include them in sporting events if Israel only played in the Asian games. And of course, Israel is on top of their game in Europe now. Somebody mentioned University of Pennsylvania. Steve Bilski came and played in Israel for 1 year. Why are you guys not mentioning Tal's birthday? Huh? Tal, when's your birthday?
We actually had Pete, we had a really big event for Tal's 80th birthday 2 years ago, and part of it was the president of Israel and the commissioner of the NBA was part of it. We've done like pretty good stuff. Pete, I see, I know you have a lot to say, but I see also our friend Sharon Joy from JNF, that is also a great friend of our film and myself personally.
I just wanted to, first of all, I wanted to say to Rabban, it's an honor to be on this incredible call with all of you. And I actually wanted to refer, Dani, to what you said, because everybody else has different experiences with the basketball world and so forth. My experience as a now retired, but Jewish National Fund professional for 26 years was that I had the great honor of hosting Tal at an event that I'm not joking, and that's what I want everybody to know, because you ask people to help, right? So how do people help? We have to help develop recognition and awareness of this, of the film. You need to raise funds. I want everybody to know who doesn't know that hosting events isn't as complicated as you think it is. And I really want to encourage everybody. When Tal Brody walked into the room, I'm not joking, that they thought he was freaking Bruce Springsteen. I've never seen such a standing ovation in my life. And it was something that was absolutely heartwarming. We were all in tears. So, and I've had the honor of hanging out with Tal and hearing him speak. Aulcie, I haven't had that honor with you, but I'm meeting you now and I'm already like the biggest fan. So I just want to say to everybody, whatever you can do, having these individuals speak at your communities, invite your friends, your colleagues, your lawyers, your accountants, people, let them come and understand that especially in today's world, the very emotional, difficult, and challenging world that we live in, if we're honored enough to have individuals like you, Dani, and of course, the incredible Tal and Aulcie, please bring them in, bring them to your communities if you can, raise money to bring them in, because you will then raise not only money that, Dani, I know how much you need, but you'll also help raise awareness and recognition of the brilliance of our homeland of Israel. So I just want to say toda rabba to all of you, and keep on doing the incredible work that you're doing. Thank you. Toda rabba.
You're amazing. Yeah, like Coach Ralph Klein, which we have to acknowledge as well, which was a big part of this team and will be a big part of our movie and our narrative film. And he was really the engine and the heart and the soul of that team. A Holocaust survivor. His father was killed in the Holocaust. And we actually indicated yesterday the 18th anniversary for his death. So this event should be dedicated also to Coach Klein from Hungary. And Jeff, I think you wanted to say something, and I think Michael, you tell us how long we have.
This is Jed Margolis, formerly executive director for Maccabi USA and now president of the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. I see a lot of familiar faces here. Kol hakavod to everybody involved in this project. We are not only the people of the book, but we're also the people of the story. So keep up the good work. Kol hakavod to you.
Thank you, Jed, for everything you do with the Hall of Fame, Maccabi, and to support inspirational stories and inspiration athletes from Israel.
Amen. Thank you. Aulcie and Tal, I want to just interject another question here. You guys do screenings and talks all over the country and around the world. And I know you speak a lot in schools. Dani just mentioned that. Can you talk about going to schools and speaking to young kids who were not alive during the 1977 win and what that's like to educate them on this incredible part of our history? So
I would say something that when I go to schools with Aulcie, it's amazing because people did not grow on Aulcie, and then after that they see him like Michael Jordan. With Tal Brody, they know him because he was in a lot of also shows and is on commercials now. When I went with him to schools in the United States, if you remember, Tal, when we were in Milken School, for example, in LA, the kids did not know if Maccabi is going to win or not. We thought the movie was over because they were cheering after the Chaska win, which was only half of the movie. Yeah. And it was like they felt like they're in the in the crypto center or in Menorah Center in Yad Eliyahu. And that was really special because they learn about the history of the country through those stories. And again, as you mentioned, Michael, Tal and Aulcie are doing it a lot. And this is one of the things we're trying to raise support because we want to tell the story of Israel through basketball, through On the Map, through the story of Aulcie, and through the other ones that we're doing. I want to mention just one more thing. Jeff Cohen, I don't know if you're here. If you are, raise your hand. I know you wrote here in the chat. And Jeff Cohen is part of my new film, Colaville, which is about the 4 people that were held hostage in a synagogue in Texas. And Jeff and I are also doing events and screenings all over. And it was a great joy and an honor to do it together with you, Jeff. And I know you're trying to put also Colaville on the map in many, many ways. So it's like, I feel like having Jeff, Aulcie, and Tal here is a privilege. And Jeff was a hostage for 11 hours. And the story is about security, and the story is really about fighting anti-Semitism. Right, Jeff?
Steve wants to say something, I believe.
And since we're on a positive note today and we're trying to be happy and whatnot, I just want to say what a pleasure it is working with you, Dani. I mean, really, you're great to work with, and I have Aulcie, Tal, I have just incredible respect for you guys. And I think as a young kid, I saw you playing at the Annapolis at the U.S. Navy Academy. And I don't remember what year it was, but when I saw Aulcie's face, I recognized him. So
whoever wants to see Colaville, or whoever wants to bring it to its community, please contact us. Whoever wants a link to the movie for free, I mean, just let us know and we'll be happy to share it. You know, this is really important story that needs to be told this time.
You know, let me just say something to Jeff. Jeff, you remember the game you said with Annapolis. It was right before the Olympics, and we came with the Israeli team. Now, after they introduced the United States team, Ernie Grunfeld, University of Tennessee, and Kupchak, and everybody with universities and All-American, they started to introduce us as with the Israeli team. And so it was really funny when the announcer started to say that Hanan Karen, farmer, Boaz Yanai, farmer, because they were from we had half the team, they were from the kibbutzim, from the kibbutz. So the crowd didn't understand what's happening. The U.S. team before the Olympics, they're playing against a bunch of farmers. That's what I remember about the game in Annapolis, you know.
That's crazy.
Our coach, they asked the coach, you know, where do these guys study? So they didn't know what a kibbutzim was. He said it's a farm. That's what the announcer introduced everybody as farmers.
Stu Kerser from Florida.
Okay. Tal, how are you?
Okay. South Florida Basketball Association.
About 3 years ago, we invited Tal to be one of our honored guests at our event. And he was amazing at our event. Our basketball audience is basically Northerners that are real basketball junkies. And they all knew of Tal. And he gave a great speech, as he always does. I've heard him several times in my life. And because I met Tal many, many years ago. And Tal, you remember 1969?
Yeah, Maccabi games.
Yeah, that game's still in my head. I have nightmares about that game, Tal.
Steve was there too. Steve.
Anyway, we brought Tal in from Israel to our event, and it was great. And as the lady said formerly, that you could bring these people to your community and your synagogue, to JCHs. It's quite easy to do it, and it's quite easy to organize it. Dani came, introduced Tal, and it was just a great event. And Tal, everybody enjoyed it. And as a result of that, Tal, remember, I don't know if you remember, many years later, Dave Weissman and I came to when you and Dani were doing the presentation of On the Map at the Kravis Center in Palm Beach. You remember that?
Conference Center.
That was the first time it was shown in the United States. It's about 7, 8 years ago. Danny probably remembers it. And I was sitting there with Dave Weissman and Billy Cunningham.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, of course, of
a
course.
big crowd there. Yeah, when
And-
Billy Cunningham came in specially for the event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Billy and I grew up 2, 3 blocks from each other, and we're still friends today. And I sent him this link to see if he could get on the Zoom with us. I don't know if he did or he didn't. But it was just great bringing you to our event. And as that lady said previously, people can do this to make the movie well known. It's got to be out there. The story has to be out there about how basketball put Israel on the map. It was just a great thing. And I'd like to give a little pitch here now. The South Florida Basketball Association is proud to say that we've donated 2 wheelchair basketballs to Israel Parasport. And we're very proud of that. It's our form of tzedakah. And thank you for being on the Zoom with us. And thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
You mentioned Billy Cunningham. In the draft of 1965, Billy Cunningham, Rick Barry, Bill Bradley, we all signed for about $12,500 a year. And they told us, it's 12. They said you're going to sign for 12.5% of the highest salary in the NBA. So who was getting the highest salary? Wilt Chamberlain was making $100,000 a year for the highest salary in the NBA. And then Bill Russell, at his 80th birthday at the All-Star weekend, when they asked him what was his greatest moments in the NBA, and he said, when Red Auerbach raised my salary to $101,000 because he wanted to be the highest paid player in the NBA. Can you imagine? And then you got a guy on the opposite team of Tel Aviv that is making $6 million in a year in Israel.
Now, the year after you spoke, we had Billy. We honored Billy at our event. And one of the quick stories that he told was he spent an entire summer negotiating with the 76ers. They wanted to pay him $15,000 for the season, and he wanted $15,500. And he said it took him 3 months, and they agreed to the $15,500. So you can imagine, in comparison to today's wages.
Him and Rick, they went to the ABA for a while. I think they went because the ABA was paying a little bit higher than the NBA. But I went in the road. Bill Bradley went to be a Rhodes Scholar in England, so I thought that I'll take a break for a year, go to Israel. I didn't think I'm going to be there 60 years, but I only went for 1 year. After that 1 year, I'm done.
Michael, this is a great thing that you did, making this Zoom.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Stu, for sharing that. Before we conclude the Zoom, I just want to give Danny a moment. We're talking about how to get involved, how to do these screenings. I shared that I kind of inserted myself and said, hey, Danny, I love your films. I would watch it with my dad and my mom all the time. We would cry. We loved it. We would laugh. And I said, I'd love to do a screening and get it going. So not only how to do screenings, but Danny, can you talk a little bit more about how people can get involved with your upcoming projects, how that works?
We would love to do screenings in your community, show it to the young generation, bring inspirational stories from Israel. Michael will share with you how we can do it. And, you can come to our website, heyjudeproductions.com. It's part of our On the Map Foundation. We're 501c3. You can be a producer in our new film. And any way or shape or form, if you know of people that will want to take part of our new film towards the 50th anniversary for 1977, 80th anniversary for Israel, we would love to do it. And we're not going to just sit around and complain. We're going to actually take action and make something about it. Because, you know, we can all sit and have coffee and say, oh, this is terrible, this is what we can also do something about it. So that's what I'm trying to do in my little bubble. And I think we have a lot of good people that will join us. And that's why we made this event. Again, it's for free. Nobody needs to do anything. Just your love and support and sharing is good enough. And if you do one, if you're able to, please reach out to me, reach out to Michael, and we would love to do more. If it's screenings in the States, in Israel, or if you want to be a producer, part of the new film, we do want and need partner support and anything else. So Michael will show you a clip of what we do. Feel free to share. I think Michael will put maybe this event also on YouTube, so we'll share it also with you guys, and you can feel free to share it as well. And I want to thank big time Stand With Us that helped promote this, partnered with us on this, and Tal Brody, Aulcie Perry, Michael Mentel, everybody. Let's keep the good work. You know, let's keep telling inspirational stories from Israel. Let's keep beating. Let's keep winning. And let's cheer Dani Avdia and Israel national team. And we'll show that, you know, you cannot beat us, but you can definitely join us.
I love that. All right, I'm gonna share this quick inspirational video.
This is how we look in the world. And this is how we really are.
All the movies that you're doing, you know, which is basically presenting the face of Israel in such an important time where you have so much anti-Semitism around the world today, where people don't understand what really Israel is.
For the last decades, I'm telling inspirational stories from Israel. If it's about sport, if it's about triumph, if it's about redemption.
The crowd, the people that see it, feel so proud and they feel so attached to the movies. You just have to see it to believe it. It just came out of my heart.
Join us now in support of telling more inspirational stories from Israel.
Beautiful. I want to thank everyone for being here. Tal and Aulcie, you guys are absolutely amazing, giants in this world, but also just such incredible human beings. Everything you've done for Israel, the Jewish people, and our allies, I can't thank you enough. Dani as well, you're incredible. Your Hey Jude productions make a sad song and make it better. You make it beautiful. So I want to thank you three so much for everything you do for Israel, for the Jewish people, for this world. Everyone here, thank you all for being here. Everyone on Zoom, and we have the live, and this will also be a recording. So everyone watching this, thank you so much. And we'll follow up with how you can get involved. And again, stand with us and all of our other partners. Thank you so much for everything. So everyone, take care, be well.